Hey everyone, welcome back to Lumani Health. I'm Steph, nurse leader, patient advocate, and this week I'm a daughter who's had a front row seat to the realities of caregiving. But before we jump in, I really want to take a moment to say how thankful I am for you. Every comment, every story you share, every question you ask, it really means the world to me. If you haven't already, I'd love it if you subscribe or follow. That's really how we stay connected and keep building this amazing community together. If you have any healthcare questions or personal experiences, maybe you're in a caregiving role or you've dealt with some real insurance nightmares, drop it in the comments below or message me. I genuinely want to hear what's on your mind because it helps me shape these episodes to what you actually need. So today's episode is especially close to my heart. It's about empowering caregivers. We'll be talking about my mom's journey caring for my dad who has stage 4 Alzheimer's. It's both heartbreaking as well as uplifting, and I'll be sharing the lessons we've learned along the way because I know how isolating it can feel when someone you love starts needing more help, more than you could ever imagine. We'll talk about the emotional side, like the sudden sense of, holy shit, everything's just changed, and the practical side, with 5 specific tips my mom's discovered along the way. So grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's dig into what caregiving really looks like day to day.
All right, so my parents' story from independence to sudden caregiving. To paint a clearer picture, let me take you back to last summer. My parents were celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. Imagine them slow dancing in their living room while I played one of my favorite songs from my childhood that reminds me of them. In that moment, my dad lit up like all of these memories had come flooding back to him. He pointed to my mom and started to hum for a second. It was like 50 years of love was right there in front of us. But here's the reality behind that beautiful dance. Not long before, Dad was driving himself to church, walking on the beach daily, doing crossword puzzles in the afternoon. Then, almost overnight, everything shifted. He couldn't drive safely anymore. He began forgetting how to get from one room to another. My mom found herself helping him with dressing, feeding, even using the bathroom. It was so shocking, like whiplash. One day you think, we can handle this, it's mild, we're good, and suddenly you're faced with 24/7 caregiving. My mom was grappling with not only heartbreak, but depression, watching her partner of half a century become someone who needed constant guidance. And yet, she also found these glimmers of hope. It's a bit of an oxymoron, right? The heartbreak is real, but so is the love. If you've been in a similar spot, maybe caring for a parent, a spouse, or a friend with a chronic condition, you know that feeling of being tossed into this new world without a roadmap. And that's why we're here today, to talk about how my mom coped, what routines we set up, and how she and I leaned on each other so no one felt completely alone in it. Let's talk about emotions now, because caregiving isn't just about tasks and schedules. It's about this roller coaster of fear, sadness, occasional guilt, and believe it or not, moments of pure joy. The term pre-grief comes up a lot, and I think it nails what my mom went through and still goes through. She's basically grieving my dad on and off while he's still here, but not quite the same man she knew. Picture this. You're folding laundry, you stumble onto one of his old favorite t-shirts. Suddenly you're hit with a big wave of tears because you remember how he'd wear it to the beach, chatting away about waves or the neighbors. Now he can't even find the living room by himself. That's pre-grief, mourning each little piece of someone that disappears day by day. And it's normal to feel conflicting emotions. My mom tells me she gets angry sometimes, angry about the disease, at how unfair life can be, but then she feels guilty for being angry. Not because it's my dad's fault. She worries about failing him. But those feelings, they're part of the process. Acknowledging them doesn't mean you're wallowing in negativity. It means you're honest about the enormity of the situation. I want you to know if you're feeling that way, you're not alone. It doesn't make you a bad caregiver. It makes you human. One thing that's helped my mom was talking about it, saying it out loud, sometimes with me, sometimes with a neighbor who's been through the same journey, sometimes just naming the grief, saying, I feel like I'm already losing him. It's the first step in not letting that grief consume you. It's heavy, but here's the thing. In the midst of all that, there are ways to lighten the load and find hope. That's what the next part is all about. Practical moves that helped my mom navigate each day without losing herself entirely in the heartbreak. So let's move into the practical stuff. The things my mom did that turned daily chaos into something more bearable. 5 tips tried and tested that you might adapt for your own caregiving journey. Tip number 1, tiny rituals. One thing my mom started was playing my dad's favorite songs each morning. Just a quick snippet. Some days he'd hum along, and it was so sweet. This reminder of who he used to be. Other days, he doesn't react at all, but she does it anyways, because routine matters. There are some pitfalls. If you skip a day because you're overwhelmed, don't beat yourself up. Just reset the next day. No one's perfect, and consistency over time is what counts, not perfection every day. Tip number 2, shared moments. We call these micro visits. I drop by a few times a week, sometimes every day, with my mini golden doodle, little Ollie Bear, and my dad lights up. He might not recognize me every single day, but my little bear sparks something for him. My mom, it's a quick break from not feeling alone. If you can't physically visit, consider a short FaceTime or just sending a voice note. Even a 5-minute friendly FaceTime or even a 5-minute phone call or a text message can change a caregiver's mood for a whole entire day. Tip number 3, self-kindness. This is huge. My mom blocks off every Saturday morning, non-negotiable, for me time. She might go for a facial or a walk or a phone call with a friend just to wander off. This cannot be a guilt zone. You might feel selfish for stepping away, but guess what? Your loved one doesn't get your best self either. So that break is actually an act of love for both of you. Tip number 4, ask dignity-focused questions. Instead of just, what medication does he need next? My mom would ask, how do we maintain his sense of self? Or is there a way we can still help him walk on his own? That shift in questions forced the care team to see him as a person, not just a patient. Sometimes providers are rushed or used to more clinical approaches. Don't get discouraged if the first answer is generic. Keep asking. Compassion often appears when you insist on a conversation about dignity. Tip number 5, build a care team. My mom recognized she couldn't do this alone. She looped me in, my siblings, neighbors who popped by for 20 minutes so she could shower in peace, a home health aide a few times a week, and even the local community Alzheimer center where my dad visits a few times a week. Waiting until you're utterly overwhelmed to reach out is probably one of the worst things that you can do. It's okay, actually. It's smart to ask for help early. People often want to help, but don't know how until you tell them exactly what you need. These 5 steps might sound simple, but let me tell you, they've kept my mom's spirit intact and given my dad those small but meaningful experiences that remind us he's still in there. Feel free to take what resonates and modify the rest for your unique situation. Let's zero in on that last tip for a moment, building a care team. In a fragmented healthcare world, coordinating multiple specialists, especially for something like Alzheimer's, can feel like a juggling act. But you don't have to be the only juggler. Who's on the team? Let's start with doctors and specialists. For us, it's Dad's primary care doctor and a neurologist. But it could also include physical therapists, nutritionists, nurses, whoever touches your loved one's care. Someone who's really big for my parents is palliative care. That's a good community for you to look up. Pharmacists. Don't underestimate how helpful a good pharmacist can be. They can spot medication interactions, sometimes sync all refills to one pickup day, saving you multiple trips. My parents have all of their medications delivered because my dad is not able to walk very long distances. Community support. My parents discovered local Alzheimer's support groups run by volunteers, as well as a community center where my dad attends a few times a week. Family and friends. My mom put together a simple group text with me and a few relatives. If she needs help picking up groceries or covering a doctor's appointment, she just asks. Lastly, there are numerous resources out there, and it is beneficial to have a quick checklist at your fingertips, whether it's on your fridge or in your junk drawer. Some great resources for caregivers and Alzheimer's. One, the Alzheimer's Association. They have a 24-hour helpline that's available whenever you need them. 2, check your local community centers or church bulletins for volunteer programs. 3, Facebook caregiver groups can be a goldmine for daily tips, real people going through the same thing you are. I say all of this because so many caregivers wait until they're near breaking point before they realize, I can't do it alone. Being proactive can save you so much stress. Even if you delegate just 1 or 2 tasks like medication pickups or meal planning, that might be enough of a relief to keep your sanity. It's not weakness, it's resourcefulness. All right. So we've walked through my parents' story, their emotional swirl of caregiving, 5 tips that have been game changers, and why building a care team is essential. If you take away one thing from this episode, I hope it's that you're not failing. Caregiving isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about showing up with love day after day and adapting to the unexpected. I want to say thank you again for being here. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Seriously, it's the best way for me to know you're on this journey with me. And if you have any stories of your own caregiving experiences or healthcare insights, please share them with me in the comments or send me a message. I promise I read every single one, and it reminds me that we're building something real, a community that stands together, not just in the easy times, but in the challenging ones too. So until next time, stay curious and keep advocating for yourself and those you love. Remember, even in the hardest moments, there can be a glimmer of recognition, a small dance in the living room, or a quiet cup of coffee that restores your heart. You've got this, and I'm here cheering you on every step of the way.